The Detroit Pistons, yes, those Pistons, just did something they haven't done since the George W. Bush administration. Win back-to-back road to playoff games, and they did it in the most Detroit way possible. Ugly, bruising, defiant basketball that harkens back to the franchise's proudest eras. With their backs against the wall in Game 5 of this tense first-round series, the Pistons stole a win at Madison Square Garden, stunning the Knicks and their faithful with a 98-97 gut check of a victory. It was a game that wasn't always pretty, but it was undeniably captivating, dripping with drama, bursting with playoff grit, and capped by a flurry of wild, heart-stopping sequences. Jalen Brunson's misstep, Cade's mastery. It all came down to a final Knicks possession. Down 3. The Garden roaring. Jalen Brunson, New York's heartbeat all season, had the ball. And then lost it. A brutal turnover in crunch time. The bounce couldn't have been crueler for Knicks fans. Malik Beasley scooped it up, zipped it to Cade Cunningham, who found Dennis Schroeder. OG Anunoby was forced to foul. Schroeder calmly knocked down both free throws. 4-point game. And yet, the Knicks still had a pulse. Anunoby, who had been clutch all night, somehow drained a contested 3 to make it a 1-point affair with seconds left. One more chance. Deuce McBride tried to intentionally miss the next free throw for a chance at a game-tying 3, but the bounce didn't go New York's way. The Pistons secured the rebound and the win. Cade's calm under fire. This wasn't a masterpiece shooting night for Cade Cunningham. He shot a modest percentage from the field, but still found ways to dominate the game when it mattered most, dropping 24 points, grabbing 8 rebounds, and dishing 8 assists. And when no one else could hit from the line, Cade calmly knocked down 11 of 12 free throws, most of them under immense pressure. On a night when both teams struggled to shoot, especially from the charity stripe, the Pistons made just enough plays, and they leaned heavily on their 22-year-old floor general to steady the ship. Ausar Thompson steps into the spotlight. Quietly but significantly, rookie Ausar Thompson delivered one of his finest performances of the season. He poured in 22 points, showing flashes of the offensive potential that had scouts drooling on draft night. But what's more, his defense. Thompson blanketed Brunson for much of the night, denying clean looks and forcing bad passes. His energy was infectious. His physicality set the tone. In many ways, Thompson looked like the most confident man on the court, a stunning feat for a player in his first playoff run. Brunson hobbled and human for the Knicks. The wheels started to wobble late in the fourth quarter. Jalen Brunson, who's been nothing short of sensational all season, turned his ankle and had to exit the game. By the time he returned, his rhythm was gone. He finished with just 16 points on 4 of 16 shooting, his lowest output of the postseason. Josh Hart, the Knicks' Swiss Army knife, also went down briefly after a nasty fall. And with both of them out of sync late, New York looked lost. Their go-to guys weren't there when it mattered most. And what about Karl-Anthony Towns? Brought in to help shoulder the burden in moments like this, he delivered just one memorable shot. A game-tying 3 late in the fourth. Beyond that, silence. The kind of silence that echoes in playoff losses. Pistons show growth, grit, and guts. Say what you will about this young Detroit team, but they don't flinch. Not anymore. They've come a long way from the 14-win disaster of last season. Under new head coach J.B. Bickerstaff, dismissed unceremoniously by Cleveland and reborn in Detroit, this team has found identity, purpose, and belief. It's not just that they're competing. They're winning, out-toughing, and out-executing teams with far more experience. Even when the officials controversially robbed them in Game 4 with a late non-call, the Pistons didn't pout. They packed up, flew to New York, and stole Game 5 from a team that thought it had this series locked down. Knicks' history, haunting them again. New York has not closed out a home playoff series since 1999. Let that sink in. The ghosts of blown opportunities of decades of underachievement continue to rattle around the rafters of Madison Square Garden. The Knicks had their chance to bury this series and rest up for what everyone assumed would be a bloodbath against Boston in the next round. Instead, they're hopping a flight back to Detroit for a Game 6 they were desperate to avoid. The Knicks are still favorites, technically. Odds makers had them at minus 490 to close out the series. But anyone who's watched this series closely knows better. The Pistons aren't just hanging around. They're playing better basketball. 5 games into this series, the point differential between these two teams, just 5 total points. This series hasn't been dominated by the Knicks. It's been a knife fig.